hear me well? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Narcissistic. I am your host, Dr. Yaya Marie, and I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you that is listening and that is tuned in. I'm so excited and I'm so grateful that each and every one of you are here. Now, today we are going back to doing the live shows. And tonight we are actually talking about the state of the world, Lilith, the spirit, and triangulation, as well as the indoctrination that is going on that you see so prevalent, especially in America. Now, tonight, I just want to say hi to the panel. You haven't heard from her in a long time. Hi, Demi.
Hi,
Hi, and you know what? If anyone else wants to call up, here's the link, and I just put it right here. Here we go. I just put in the chat. There we go.
There you go.
So if you want to call in and just express your feelings, or how do you feel about anything that's going on tonight, just call in and don't be shy, and we can have a chat. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm good. It's good to see you again.
I know. And I mean, everyone can virtually see me. I just feel like I'm just like a mess right now. I had such a long day.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe I feel on that. It was a long day. It's a long week, actually.
It was. Yeah. Like, this week is just, I mean, it's crazy. So how have you been down there? I know that you're still in Georgia?
Yeah.
Now, how is it down there? Is the weather really rainy over there?
It's always rainy in Georgia this time of year, so it's raining.
Yeah.
So, we get our little peaks of sunshine here and there. So just making it happen, living a dream.
Yeah.
Loving being single and free and not with the narc. So I'm good.
No updates from the narcissist since we last talked.
No. Let them stay in the dark. We're not going to talk them up. Let them stay in the dark or with their little.
Yes, I definitely agree. Let me see if there's anybody in the chat. Anybody else in the chat? Hi, chat. Don't be shy. Let's talk. Come on in. Call in, chat. Let's talk.
Come on in.
So today has been very interesting. Now, since I the last post that I did on Facebook as well as TikTok, I explained that one of the evil spirits that resides in a narcissist is Lilith, the demonic spirit Lilith. You have to excuse me because like my braces are really tight, and so I feel like I kind of sound like I don't want to make fun of anybody here, but you know how you have a really bad lisp?
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it? I feel like I sound like Mike Tyson right now.
No, that's just you. You're feeling your voice.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to actually read an excerpt. I have a whole passage dedicated to how this ties into narcissism. When I made the post, a lot of people came for me, one in particular, or a couple in particular, that said, this person or Lilith, the spirit, was actually a pioneer to feminism, to the rise of women, being women, empowering women. And some of them actually referred to this as Adam's first wife. They referred to the spirit as a pioneer in feminism. Now, I want to stay to the part where they're talking about feminism. Two can be true at the same time. Was this spirit a pioneer in feminism? Yes. Was this spirit also an evil spirit from ancient Babylonian times that wanted to rule and lure men into temptation? That is also true. So we want to be careful because, since history says this, then that means that it's right. And that is not always the case. Okay, just because, let's take ancient Egypt for example. With ancient Egypt, were there many gods that people worshipped? Yes, that's true. 100% true. Does that make it right? No, it does not. So yes, there can be truth. There can be things that are historically somewhat, you can say it's historically correct, but does that make it actually 100% true to the point where we now are putting our faith with the world's faith and what the world stands for? Does everybody understand that? You put a one in the chat if you're watching me right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Because you have this, even now, a lot of people follow different faiths and different gods and goddesses and more than one or two. So this is the same thing that's going on. Is it something that we should be doing?
Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because I actually addressed this in the book. I mean, and I'm just going to read this to you. I want everybody to please just listen along. This is not a plug for the book. I'm just giving you what was researched and what the world actually knows and how they view this type of spirit, as opposed to what I'm going to break down in a few minutes. Hi, Cynthia. I'm so happy you're here. You did catch a live. Okay. All right. So now this, if you do have the book, this is actually on page 83. All right. So according to some accounts, Lilith was created at the same time as Adam from the same dust as the earth and was meant to be equal. I'm going to stop right there. A lot of the people that have been messaging me are telling me, well, Lilith is a person or was a woman that was created with Adam, and she was actually the powerhouse. She was the mitochondria of the relationship. She was the first one. I'm not here to debate whether she was first, second, third. Honestly, when it all boils down to it, it does not really matter if she was the first wife. Because let's say you are right. Let's say that she was the first wife. Okay, now what? Does that mean that she did everything that she was supposed to do as far as the kingdom? If you are right. So let's say you won the argument. I'm going to just back down and say, yeah, let's say you're right. At the end of the day, it does not necessarily matter. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where else to start. And I got people texting me like, hey, good job. Hey. All right. So as far as if she was the first wife or not, it doesn't necessarily, I hate to say it doesn't matter, but it really does not matter, because guess what? This is not a moment of salvation, and it's not a salvation issue. Now, if you put your faith in Lilith and say she was a pioneer because of the feminist movement, that's where we have a problem. That's where we have a big problem. Now, however, Lilith refused to submit to Adam and left Adam to live on his own. That is the world's view of Lilith, okay? It's important to note that Lilith is not mentioned in the Bible, and therefore there is no mention of the spirit of Lilith. But check this out. However, in Isaiah 34:14, an animal called a screech owl is mentioned. Now, this is in accordance to, there is a database that people, scholars, everyone, and not just scholars, you don't have to have a doctorate in theology, okay? You can go on Google, look up Strong's Concordance, look that up, and you will see that there is a database where you can put in any word in the Bible, and it will have a number next to it and will give you a definition. It will give you scenarios with that word. Okay. It's called Strong's Concordance. So if you have that, you can look up all of what I'm saying, and you have to do your own research. It's imperative to do your own research. Now, with that Strong's Concordance number, she is actually number 3917, which is the definition of a female night demon. That is Strong's number 3917. This is in my book. None of this is what I'm just talking to you right now. This is research material, okay? Because someone tagged me today and on a TikTok, and they tagged me in somebody who is really well known, like much more well known than me. I would say that, and they're like, "Look at this," and I'm like, that's awesome that you tagged me, but did you this is also research. Like, just because somebody has a huge following, that doesn't mean that people like myself aren't researchers. That doesn't mean that people like myself are not capable of actually putting forth information for everybody. And you never know who's listening. And I will say this because I'm going to address this in another show, but I have been seeing my work in a lot of people's videos. I'll say that. I have been seeing word for word, verbatim stuff out of my book. Verbatim. My book was published last year, April or May. The final copy on Amazon was April 2023. And I have been seeing a lot of stuff. Listen, the book is for everybody. I don't care if you take whatever. But when you're at a certain caliber of a person and you're actually taking word for word, look, I don't expect anything at all. My issue is I just want the word to get out. But please do not have people worshiping you on account of what somebody else researched. It's not right, and it's not fair at all. Because my book, look, I have a reference page. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have about 7, 8 pages full of references that, I'm researching. It's a research where I got, certain information from. And, I don't want to be accused of stealing or, there's a copyright, anything like that. So this is serious. Now, what were you about to say, Demi?
I was just going to totally agree with you. That's a form of plagiarism.
Yeah.
Frankly, you took the time to research this information, at least get the acknowledgement that you deserve, as opposed to just taking the information for their own. That's what we call an accountability and some type of responsibility, and being respectful of each other's craft.
Yeah,
it's just not right to just take someone's information and call it their own or use it for their own purposes, because that's why we have copyrights, and we have. There was just in the news some high official was accused of plagiarism, and she got fired for her job.
Oh yeah,
because it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal to me, and as you know, that my whole adult life has been in academia. Since I've not stopped school since I was 18, and we have to have references. You have to have, citations for your work. You have to double check, fact check. You can't just get up on here and say anything. And I'm not gonna lie, it's disappointing to see that, but Look, I just know that the Most High, He got me, and the ones that have been here for the start, like such as yourself, and the ones that have really like been here since day one, such as yourself, you know where you hear my work. You know where you hear this type of work. Yeah, you know where you hear this information.
Love the work.
Thank you.
Keep going. The star is gonna fly.
Yeah. Now, listen. Usually, this spirit has been called a witch or a night monster, vampire. It's so crazy because the person, I'm gonna stop talking about it, but listening, the person that tagged me in this is all in a book. She tagged me into a person that I don't know if they read the book. I'm not gonna go there, but it's word for word what I wrote, to the point where I'm like, talk about humility, where I have to sit back and watch other people talk to millions of people on stuff that I wrote.
Wow.
But yeah, talk about humility. Wow. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Okay.
So okay, going back to
he got you.
Right, I know. Going back to Lilith, okay. This type of spirit seeks to diminish everything that you have. One thing that I do break down on this channel, this is an elemental. That means this is from the earth. You have elementals like elements, water, earth, air. This is that type of spirit. So when you have that type of a drainage, this is the type of person that lures people in to the point where they feel like they can't say no. They can't resist the temptation. They can't, they're not strong enough to resist this type of spirit. That's how they feel. They are, but the only issue is that there is some type of loophole where there's access. Okay. On top of that, this spirit hates children. It absolutely hates children. When I did the video today, I talked about how, well, not it wasn't today, it was like probably yesterday. I talked about how, think about how a narcissist does. They meet you, they love bomb you, and they tell you, yeah, I want, let's say if you're a type of person that wants children, they will say, yeah, I love children, I want children, everything. Later down the line, not even that far down the line, what do? They're not there for the children. Not at all. They actually don't even want the children to come into existence. They rather not. Let's say you have children and you meet one of these people. Lilith hates children. You may catch a person giving your children the side eye. They're looking at your children crazy. They're looking at your children like, you catch them. And you're like, man, did I just see that? Yes, you did. And one thing that's important is to not underestimate the magnitude of what you're dealing with. Okay? What you got on that, Jimmy?
Let me interject on that, because I don't know if you, well, I'm sure that you know, but there are different types of narcissists. There's the one that I dealt with that hated children, didn't want any kids, but he was still a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the one that wanted kids, but didn't divulge that he actually hated them.
Yeah, that is all.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
both of them are Lilith. Let's say, for instance, you have children, and they're like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I love children. I always wanted them. They're going to pretend that they want these children. On the other hand, you catch them saying crazy stuff, or maybe you look at them and you see them glance at the child in a nasty manner.
Right.
I mean, it's clear that, they're not really wanting or even into the children, really. Or You have a child already, or before you have children,
Right.
and they're all gung-ho about it. They're like, yes, I want a family. I want a big
Right.
family. Anything to tell, anything that you really want to hear.
Exactly. Just to keep you around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There
Well,
we
they
go.
did this in the love bomb stage, and it's nothing new.
No, I think
It's
people get it twisted. They think there's one type of narcissist, but there are many, there are different types of narcissists. There are different types of versions of the narc.
Well, I
That,
just know it's on a spectrum. I don't want to say different types.
yeah,
It's
we can say that. They're on a spectrum.
yeah,
They're on a spectrum because they go
different
in
degrees.
phases. They have their phases maybe where they're into that. Well, let me do this to throw that person off into thinking I want kids when I really don't want to, or okay, they don't have kids, so I'm gonna let them know that I don't want kids, just to make it
Mm-hmm.
seem like they don't when they really do, and then we see them later on with a bunch of kids with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Well, usually they prey on a lot of women. This is a totally different show though.
I
They
know.
do a lot of them prey on women with a lot of children
Mm, mm,
because they know they're going to have somewhere to sleep.
right.
They know that the children will be fed, so they're going to be fed. There's always going to be food in the house.
Wow.
There's going to be Nintendo, television, snacks.
Like you're prey. Like you and your children are their prey.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This is Lilith, the demon of Lilith, working in them.
Lilith hates children.
Okay.
Now, the point when I was saying about how they know, let's say that you meet a narcissist and you do have a lot of children,
Mm-hmm.
they may not hate the children.
Okay.
Some places.
Okay.
Sometimes they like to choose people that have children because they know there's going to be a roof over their head.
Mm.
There's going to be, benefits that come along with the children.
Yeah, because they're not contributing to anything.
Of course not.
So it's up to the woman to go, wait a minute, what are you actually here for?
Well, that brings us to the next part of the subtitle.
Okay.
That was a perfect segue, by the way.
Thank you.
The triangulation. Now, let's say, for instance, you're a woman. Let's say that. And I'm using this example because there's so many women that don't have that have this dynamic rather than men. Okay. Let's say that you know that you are single, of course, and you want someone to be there for your children. You're picturing this fantasy of a household with two parents. That's what you're wanting. So you meet a guy and he's promising you that. Mind you, a narcissist, they know what you desire. You want two parents in the household. You want a father for your children in the household. They know that. They know what you need and what you desire. So what do? They're going to play stepmother. They're going to play stepdad. They're going to play this perfect person. But the narcissist can never be alone. You will find yourself listening to the narcissist's old stories of their ex. Listening to their stories. So you'll be like, oh, well, what happened? And they'll tell you this whole rundown. She was crazy or he was crazy. Or, she won't let me see the children. They won't let me see the children. And people believe it. Let me tell you, there is nothing that will prevent me from seeing my children. If they were, you will walk, who's a parent in here? You will walk across fire for your children if you really love them, right?
No, that's
I
right.
think it would be, I forget this person or whatever. I'm going to see my child.
Right.
So how is it? Let's put on our thinking caps, okay? How is it that a lot of these people that you meet, they're giving the same story? She won't let me see my children. And I don't want to go to court because I don't want the court in my business. Excuse me? So you mean to tell me the business and the court and your business is more important than your child? It doesn't make sense. And women fall for this every minute, every second. They're falling for a man that says, she won't let me see my children. No, 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 no. The real story is they're not having access to the children because they want to pop in and out, and they don't have a stable home, and the person or the mother is not going to let them keep playing with the kids' emotions. That's usually the real story. Usually. Are there some women that keep men from their children? Of course. Yeah. But if that were the case, you needed to document everything and go to court as a man. You understand that one? Yeah, I mean, the triangulation is what really gets people.
Very sad. Sad, but
It
true.
is.
And it goes on and on and on because you see it every day in people's lives. I'm sure I was a judge at one of those county court offices, the child support office. I would be like, I would need another job. I would get tired of seeing this over and over and over every day of my job. They
Mhm.
can't pay me enough to sit there and listen to all this BS
Yeah.
about these people. Now that I know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on, it's like, what's there to save? How can I even help you? Because it's the same sad story of this demonic force that's taken over in these people's lives, and they don't even have a clue of what's going on.
And to be honest, these people don't care about the children. I mean, this sounds really harsh. Um, when
But
it boils down to it, they care about the children. No, they care as far as how you're supposed to care. But as far as something happening, like something really detrimental happening to the children, they don't care. They don't care because they have actually had these children to prove a point to the other party, to prove a point to the person that's being triangulated against. And what do I mean by that? Let's say, for instance, you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you do something petty to offend the narcissist because they get offended really, really quick. They will go back to the old supply, talk crap about the new supply, go back and forth, and the mindset of these people are, I'm going to prove a point. I'm going to have this person's baby. I'm going to have a baby with them to prove that we're still together and we're still involved. What kind of sick, twisted, they will bring another life into this world because they want to prove a point. And that is what I mean when I say there is no care when it comes to their children. That is what I mean.
wow, that's so true. I mean, case in point, I see people with kids, and I've talked to people with kids in my background, and they talk about the men like they're gonna win them back if they're with another woman. They're gonna find I got to get him back because there was so and so, and you actually see them with the other person moving in and out, and they're with it. it's such a it baffles me, the drama that goes on with these people. It's like they're okay with this narcissist actually playing them for fools. And they're in a show. They're in a competition with each other over the narc. As if they're the prize.
I like that one.
As if they're the prize of all. But then again, you're dealing with someone who has the lowest of the lowest self-esteem.
This is why I choose them. Yeah.
Now I get it. I mean, I understand that. Even, I mean, I was in that situation, but I never. But this was back in the day. Like, I don't even. This was years ago, but I still could not fathom myself fighting over a person. Like,
well, they had it back then because some of these grandmas and great grandmas, they're side chicks,
right?
So it just depends on your standards,
right?
Because they're always going to be there. These type of men and women, especially these type of. I'm so sick of it.
That's probably why I was in it. I wasn't in it as long as I was, and I never had any kids with them. So thank goodness. And I never married, but I did marry one, but it was a no. Thank goodness. But still, the fact that I didn't stick around to go with battle with someone, another person, another situation, and baby mama drama with some other person.
Yeah, that needs to be canceled. The baby mama culture. And the reason why they have these little children with these people is because they always want to have somebody there. So say for instance, I can always go to my baby daddy. Like, I don't even feel right saying that.
Right.
Because it's not even in my vocabulary to say my baby daddy.
It sounds so far.
It's so like foreign,
I've never.
It's something that you can always fall back on.
Right. That's what men.
Right. And that's what they always want, is a person to always fall back on. Not my husband, not my wife.
No.
Not even the ex-husband or ex-wife.
Right.
My baby daddy.
Why does it have to be that? Why it sounds so dramatic? It sounds like drama.
I wouldn't claim that. I wouldn't claim it.
When they say it and I hear it, I'm like, why does that sound like such drama? Like,
because it is. It's why there's so much syphilis in the world, because they always running back to somebody, some baby daddy. Hi, crime.
It seems like that's why the pH balance is off. But that's another show.
I'm gonna take my shoe off on you.
You wonder why.
I just can't.
But it's never the man.
They always accept them. They accept them back no matter what.
Because they got this other women involved and they don't clean themselves. You still got somebody else's body. Oh,
look, I just see them. I'm like, it's a walking germ.
Don't dare kiss one. It smell. Never mind. Another show.
Another show for that. Let me take a sip of this.
I know.
Yeah.
Let me get my red blood.
In water, baby. I can't do it. I mean, this disgusting.
Yeah.
And you want to. Okay, never mind. All right. Okay. Regarding the triangulation.
Yes.
You're being triangulated between one woman or man that you just met. They're telling you all the rundown. Prime, the link is right there if you want to call in. It's on you. It's up to you. The link is there. They're telling you, okay, well, I'm not with this person, Matter of fact, sometimes you don't even know that a person was in a relationship or just got out of a relationship. They may give you an address to a person or the other party, and you're like, okay, I'll come over. You're coming into somebody else's house. you're coming into somebody else's place where they just left or still live there. The other parties at work, a narcissist will give you an address to the person that they're living with. It's not even their home.
For the next one in line.
Yeah.
I've had that situation, not knowing.
This is how you end up on Snapped.
Yep.
I would have snapped on somebody's neck.
This is how you see people in the news just because of
yes.
like this.
So you come home, you see somebody in your home, in your house, and you're like, come on now. They have no limit. There's no boundary. There's no low.
It's what they can get away with. That's a whole nother, it's a whole different level for them. It's a game for them. It's a game. And so many times I look back in dealing with men, I've been in situations like, whoa, my goodness. Thank you, Father, for me being here. Because if you don't know, you don't know. But then now that we know these things and people are trying to give you this information, ladies, men that deal with narcs, this is your opportunity to know what's really going on. It's not a game.
You have
we seriously want people in our lives, and some people just think that because you want that your life is a joke. That you're asking for too much because you want to be in a relationship. No, you're the one that has a problem. Not them. They're just out to get what they can get at that particular time because they see you're so vulnerable. But it's not cute. And like I used to say to people in my profession, people, you don't know how people are going to respond to you if you're in a certain situation, if you're not having a bad day. You don't know how people are going to respond to you. You don't know if they're going to strike back at you or say something to make you feel bad. Nowadays, people, back in the day, it was just a punch. Now then it was a knife wound. Now they shoot you.
SOOT.
They not just respond. And I said that after I said that. But I mean, people have at different times in this world, people respond differently.
Yeah.
Because everything's so elevated nowadays with social media. People think it's okay to do what they do, and they're gonna be okay with being backed up with social media. But that's not always the case. But it's a sad situation where a lot of people out there just prey on the most vulnerable, and we don't want to be the most vulnerable. We're just asking to be in situations where we're committed and we're going to reciprocate it.
Well, that is a basic human right. I remember my first year law school. There is, for those of you who do not know, 2017 I graduated with my degree in education law. The first 2 years were regular law, then there was a specialty. I remember from NSU, look at the shirt, NSU, Nova, go Sharks.
Go Sharks.
But I remember there was, there's basic fundamental rights. There's rights for, clean water. You have the right to publicly, speak, or, you have your rights as free speech, as long as it's not obscene or crazy, which is weird because most of the speech we see now is obscene and crazy. But that's another topic. And there's also a right, especially for even inmates have the right to marry, meaning there's a right to be loved, right? So essentially what you're saying is, okay, well, since you have these rights, I'm going to intrude on these rights, which is such a violation of your personal beliefs, because here you are going along about your business. I'm going, I'm walking, minding my business, and here comes the narc. infringing on your personal beliefs and your personal rights. And I just find that so like interesting. Who would have thought that our rights, our want to be loved, our want to have somebody would be preyed upon like you are a piece of steak in a zoo cage with a bunch of hungry lions? Who would have thought? And I just find that it's absurd and it's sick that these people are like this. And guess what, everybody? We have another guest. Prime, did you see me on Prime's New Year's special? Look at here. Look at here.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. I like that.
What's up, guys? What's up, Dr. Yaya? You got me laughing again. So funny, that's quite funny. Oh my goodness.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
All right.
Awesome. I'm so happy you called in.
Well, I appreciate it. I was enjoying the chat. I was sitting back listening and watching and learning.
Yes. That's awesome. Now listen, you have enjoyed the chat so far. Do you have anything? And it's really important because I haven't done one of these lives in months.
I know.
Months. I haven't had one of these like a panel or anybody to call in literally so long, since like beginning of summer. So do you have any, it's just been me up here just talking, but do you have anything to add?
I'm learning. I'm just learning. I'm learning how deep this thing goes in terms of this narcissism and the demonic thing. And it's just interesting, and everything starts to make sense once you kind of understand it. So I appreciate all your work and everything you're doing, because I think a lot of people are confused about the relationships they've been in, and they came out and they don't really know what went wrong. And this kind of explains everything.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I'm so happy you called in. And if you want to call in, make sure that you just hit the StreamYard link that's in the comments. It ends in AV9. Okay. So now I wanted to talk about, we talked about Lilith, and there was one thing that I wanted to also say about that spirit. When we're talking about femininity, right? Remember, not femininity, I'm so sorry. Feminist. Think about how that the feminist is on the wavelength of I need to probably, let me please put this on mute. The ultra independent woman. Everybody hear me clearly? Not the just regular one, not just regular, okay, I need to do this because of that. I need to do that. I'm talking about the I don't need somebody. Okay.
Right.
This is like another level. And who is responsible for that? You can blame Lilith. Lilith is, like we read here in the book, in here, with Same Place Matchmaker, in my book, I have a whole breakdown according to what the world knows Lilith as. And let me just be honest. When you're seeing these people, I hate to even say it because I don't want anybody to research this, but I'm going to have to say it. And I pray that there is no type of curiosity to know what these people are really doing behind closed doors. When you're seeing these type of people trying to conjure up this spirit, or when you're seeing these type of people saying this is the leader or the mother of demons, of certain demons, okay, you can let them have it. What they're essentially saying, think about it. One person, they came for me today, all today they were coming at me. This is the mother of femininity. She gives us our rights to, of not femininity, of feminists. She gave us our rights to be free as far as us women not needing anybody. She's the most powerful mother. They keep calling her mother. Why? Why is this spirit being called mother? And she is the pioneer for the feminist movement, where she's telling you, you can do it all without any male interaction.
Wow.
Any of them.
Wow.
This is how you know that I am not making this up. I'm not pulling this out of a hat. I can show you today on this phone right now. Somebody emailed me and said, "How dare you?" They blame me for the state of the world and said, "How dare you talk about Lilith like that?" What? Excuse me, and this is a man. What? He actually said this is so many people's doctrine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what religion is that associated with, or is that like in some mystery school?
It's a lot of them say they don't have a religion. A lot of them, this is where it gets tricky. A lot of them claim to be believers. I've also had a woman today. She claims to be a believer, and she told me that Lilith is Adam's first wife. And I said, "Hey, that's how the world knows her." I get it. So I can't necessarily pinpoint a religion. I can say that people that are pagans, people that are Wiccans or Satanists or Luciferians, I'll take that last one back. I would say people that worship the dark or are in the occult, they do try to push her doctrine. Now, with believers who believe in or who say they believe in Christ, they are actually accepting her doctrine. As in, remember, she's ruled, she's the queen of the I'm so independent where I do not need any male involvement. She lures men into seduction. Mind you, everybody, always tell everyone this. Fact check me. Go on your own research. Go on the Strong's Concordance. Research everything, okay? She lures men into temptation to the point where they think they cannot say no because everybody can't say no, okay? Also, Lilith hates children. Lilith, this spirit absolutely hates children and is responsible for the offing or killing of children. So when you're meeting this type of person, think about how some of them tell you, I'm strong, independent. I never wanted children. I don't need anybody for anything. I don't even like children. I see them, I just go the other way. It's a strong aversion to children. Okay. Hi, American Association. Yes, that is idolatry. It definitely is. Yep. And you're most welcome. So Lilith is a strong spirit that is ruling other ones. So when they said that she is a mother of demons, yeah, they might have had it right. Does that make it right for us? Not in my book. What do y'all think on that?
I want to interject there because then you have all these other entities that goes along with what you're talking about with this demonic force, if you will, and that's Planned Parenthood. Or I don't know if we can say that on here. Those agencies that go into that type of deal where they don't.
Lilith and Molech.
That's all.
Remember when Molech, when there was passages in the Bible all throughout Leviticus, Deuteronomy, do not sacrifice your children to Molech. Meaning don't ever send your children to be sacrificed or in harm's way to the point where, not in harm's way also, but just another level of, your children are going to perish. They're going to DIE. Now, in today's terms, we're not necessarily saying, here, take my children and send them to the fire.
Right.
What are people doing now? Mm-hmm. Now you see here, they're over here twerking to Sexy Red on Facebook. They're over here actually, parents are recording their children with SEX tapes and sending them out. You're sacrificing your children because of what? Fame, money, attention. meaningless things, that is still a child sacrifice. You're sacrificing people. Think about people's elders in a family. Remember, generational curses go through 3 to 4 generations down. So somebody prior had to say, hey, I'm going to give up this generation that's going to come previous to me, and I'm going to sacrifice, or I'm going to trade in their destiny. All of that coincides with each other. That is how you sacrifice in these days your child to Molech. That is how you now are actually giving Lilith the upper hand.
Wow.
You two can't walk together unless they're agreed. Okay. So you can't say like, okay, well, Lilith is a pioneer. What? And then say you believe in the Messiah? Pick one.
Can't be half-assed.
Look,
you can't be teeter-tottering. Boy, you got to know what you're going to know.
I'm telling you.
This is so informational. I love it. You got to preach to these people. I'm telling you, because we're like,
I love you.
I mean, in the darkness to these things, and we've been, I mean, I don't want to date myself, but I'm over 50, over 55.
Okay.
And we have, our generation has known certain things. And I'll speak for myself. I've known certain things, and my mind was like, why is that? Why? How did that happen? How did that come to be? And I didn't have anyone, not even a pastor, a minister, a great grandmother. I didn't have great grandmothers in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that if I did, they probably would have told me something.
They wouldn't have told you nothing. They would have said
something and get on my way.
Right.
But the family we knew this for generations, you know how they talk in the South. They would say to you and give you something to eat and have you move on out of the living room and I listen to grown folks' business. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it is what it is. I adore this conversation because it gives me such insight as to what I remember as a child, preteen, adult, pre-adult, adult growing up and understanding that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And something has been wrong because we're not understanding that our, we'll say, the past, can I say pastors? Those people that preach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they're really prosperity.
Right. They want to just take our little change and buy their little mobiles and have their little cars and have everybody in the past looking at them like they were idolatries and not help us understand that they're pushing us into a little space where we don't want to be. We knew we had to do better, but we didn't know how. Because we didn't understand the truth. This is
so they didn't even want to hear the truth. Say the truth.
Everybody would leave.
Yeah.
We're gonna walk out.
Yeah.
They would
walk out.
I would walk out. You will see the back of me. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Because it's the truth.
What do you think about that, Prime?
Yeah, so you know, it's interesting how this feminism, because I've been studying it too, and so this just takes it down a little darker path. You know, I didn't know they had their own devil with feminism, so now it even makes even more sense. Because it really strikes right at the heart of God's plan. It's like you know, and then when you think about the Lilith and the whole story with the snake, the serpent. And the serpent, basically, that was the story, was that she tricked the woman into believing that somehow God's plan wasn't right.
Right. And you know what's so significant about that also is, you know, it says that Adam didn't sin, but Eve did. So why did they both get in trouble? That is the actual PowerPoint or but I got
her out of there.
Right. Guess what? He didn't use his authority. And They were married to become one. Whatever your wife has done, you're also accountable also. So it's like, okay, why didn't Adam do anything?
He was putting on lipstick, probably.
Child.
He was trying to curl his hair. He was
No, that's the new Adams. That's not that Adam.
What? He was doing what he wanted to be you. What you talking? In this day and age.
Yeah, that's a different Adam.
Yeah. Stuff. Come on now. This is ridiculous.
You know, he really needs to just sit down.
What?
He needs to step down. Yeah.
That's crazy.
He needs to step. And that is the order of how if you get caught doing, like a man of his stature, like you get caught with something like that with FBI.
Come on now.
Step down.
Come on. Step.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do it. The money he in too deep.
Nah, ain't enough money to save him.
Yeah, he in too deep. I think that's why he won't admit to it.
Well, he didn't
do that long.
That's their way of admitting.
Yeah.
And people have to pick up on it. That's their way. The way he was talking, that was his way of admitting it. Round about the bush.
What a mess.
Yeah, it's impossible to have a relationship with God and to live like that. That's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and also it's impossible, not impossible, but I remember that scripture, how hard is it for a rich man to get to heaven?
Yes.
Like through the eye of a needle. Yes. You know what I mean? It's how hard. I mean, that the guy in the Bible, and Jesus said, okay, well, sell. He was perfect. But if you want to be perfect, he said, sell all of your possessions and give it to the poor.
Come on.
And he came back mad. He was like, I ain't doing that. You asked for too much. Dude went on by his business. He didn't ask no more questions after that. And that's so significant.
He's telling you.
My goodness. Well, going from that, and then there was one last thing that I wanted to say about the indoctrination. When we were talking about the indoctrination of the feminist movement, and I just gave the example how all these people were coming at me saying about that, I was coming for their God. I'm coming for their deity Lilith. How dare I talk about their beloved screech owl?
You should know they're listening.
How dare I talk about their owl, their screech owl?
You see that owl too sitting on their porch too.
Hello.
No comment.
Many people worship this, and it's more prevalent than people know, because guess what? When you're in the occult, can I just give everybody some tips? When you're in witchcraft and the occult, one of the things that you have to do is belong to some type of religion. And the perfect religion is Christianity, because you can blend in. Most of the people that are in the occult, they are right in the front row of the churches. They're singing in the churches. Read a book called Church Mom.
Church Mom. So funny. Yeah, I know that to be the truth. I know that. I know that to be the truth.
You see those owls everywhere. Whatever, from the motels. What is it? Motel? I don't even go to that.
They're everywhere. I went to the wharf where you buy like seafood and stuff like that. And something said look up, and there's a huge owl, like a statue.
Yeah.
And usually, people put out statues like owls and what's the other one? There's a few like the gargoyle and the troll.
Yeah.
Statues.
The gnome too. The gnomes
and stuff. People don't really know about that too much, but there's a few that the occult people will put out that are symbols to other people in the occult. So I looked up and I saw that owl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. It was weird. And then I'm just going about my business, and I go on my Instagram and I'm posting like, okay, I just went to the wharf. I'm in DC. It's a beautiful place by the water. You get to eat, and I just like to go out there and chill, right? So I posted, and it was weird because the guy who, come to find out, he's in charge of like a lot of businesses out there. He saw my post and then liked it. I'm going to his page, and I see that owl.
Yeah. Oh, you're in the know now. You part of the owl. You got the owl in the background.
I rebuke that owl. I will kick that owl right in the back of that forehead, and it don't.
Rebuke.
I don't play with those. No.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not in no. I don't know. No. That's the only no. I mean, is the no, N-O, not the K-N-O-W. Y'all gonna keep playing with me. Keep it up. Watch.
Kick that no in the head. Boy.
Right. Y'all take my shoe off.
Kick him right in the head.
Yeah, he really gonna be have to report to his little clan.
Okay.
All right. So we talked about the indoctrination of this. The last point is what I wanted to say about the children. The children. Have you seen these children twerking? I'm talking about babies, little girls, 6, 7 years old. Have you seen that, Prime?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know that there's obviously a culture of it with the Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, the record label and the executives there have to be really held accountable because that's where it comes from. Mm-hmm. But they market to the children. They use the Barbie. The Barbie is obviously a toy. It's a kid's toy. And, her message and her brand association should have nothing to do with children. So it doesn't surprise me.
Well, this one I've seen recently, little tiny girls, probably not even 6. 6 is a stretch. These children had to be about 4 or 5. And they were twerking and singing Sexy Red with the curse words, but I guess it was okay because the little girls didn't say the curse words, but of course it was playing in the background. And this is what I mean by the indoctrination. And it's the indoctrination of evil. It's the indoctrination of I can do what I want and it's okay to act like this in any setting when it's not. And I do also blame, of course, I blame the parents because they're parents, they're little 5. The little girls had to be like 5 or 4. Literally like 5 or 4.
I saw that.
Yeah. It's been going viral.
This has been going on. Now that we have the social media, it's now you can see it going on because back in the day, they were little fast girls, and they would.
And I don't even believe that. There's no such thing as a fast girl.
I mean, they would.
There's such thing as a girl that has been acting out because they've been inappropriately touched and not knowing.
Exactly my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, they've been indoctrinated since they were little kids by their neighborhood, their parents, and what have you, and their community would call them "quote unquote" fast girls. When they put them out there when they were little kids.
The parents know what they're doing.
Yes, and now we got it on tape now, on visual.
I cannot believe it.
And that's not even the first. That's not even that's one of them. There's another one where they show the girls on the poles.
Yeah, that was they took the words right out of my mouth.
The
next one was a pole fitness.
So how is these allowed to be on anybody's platform legally?
Thank you.
Right, what platform is letting them do that?
It's on Facebook. Crazy. It's on Facebook.
That should not be on Facebook.
And it should not. People have been reporting. They're not going to take it down. They're not taking it down. The one thing with the pole, the stripper pole thing, they're saying it's because of fitness. And I made a comment. I'm like, fitness with the vertical stripper pole with little girls on the top of their head. They're on their heads with their legs open and their mother is right there. Right.
Right, they're dancing with the quote unquote dancing
with their mom,
with the mothers, quote unquote exercising with their mothers.
So at what point in time does the mother be held responsible? Because I mean,
exactly.
I mean, you're pointing the blame at a lot of people, but I mean, at the end of the day, these are your children, and the parents are responsible. I mean,
oh no, that's why I say I blame the mothers.
Yeah, I mean,
I blame the parents.
Right.
Yeah, like they should be being contacted by. They should be being contacted by somebody from some type of social agency or something like that.
That's what I said. Exactly.
Oh, but guess what?
I mean,
no, they're not gonna do that. Guess who they came to attack? The people in the comments saying that's not right. They said we have the problem. And a couple try to gaslight me and say, oh no, her leg's not open.
The little girl's playing her like she's doing a V, a little child on the pole. Oh, I'm disgusted. I was disgusted. And the parent mom
right there
is right there, helping her figure out how to do it.
Yep. And here's the picture I just blanked out. If you're looking on some type of platform or, Spotify, if you're listening to me, it's just a mother and her daughter. Both of them are doing headstands, but I blanked out the part where, of course, their privates are showing. But yeah, they're both at the same time.
So here we go. This is blasphemy at its finest.
But no, we are the ones who have a problem. The next one, indoctrination. There are two content creators that are beefing. Hi, Brian. There are two content creators. One is a man and one is questionably a woman. Okay. I say questionably because I don't know word on the street that's really a man. I don't know. Now, probably he's over here laughing like, say it again.
So it's a crazy world, man. It's some crazy crap. You know what I mean?
And
it's crazy.
It might be a man. We're not really sure. Okay. So they were beefing, and one of the content creators, who is the alleged woman, we don't really know. I'll say she for the I don't really know. So she actually brought out receipts of the other content creator being a pedo. Now, instead of people being mad that this person is a pedo, they are coming for her and saying, you should have never put the person's business out there. Forget the fact that he's a pedo. Do y'all see the indoctrination, right? Please.
Crazy.
In the chat. Do you know what I'm talking about in the chat?
Crazy.
Yeah. Insane.
The world is a whole part of this whole Lilith thing going on. They're all indoctrinated into the whole belief of demonic.
It's ruling. It's ruling.
And it's just really lawlessness. The further you get away from God, the more lawless you become. So it's just lawlessness. These are things that are common sense. Even non-religious people know that that's wrong. So it's
No, you're right. You're definitely right. My goodness. So we already just as a recap before we get off of here, we went over Lilith and her footprint on today's society, and it is huge. It's a huge one. Huge. Okay. Today I also, I talked about this on my TikTok and on my Facebook, and you can tell who read the book. I'll just say that. You can tell who read it, because a lot of these content creators are saying verbatim what is in here. They're not even trying to switch it up. And, the time will come where, I'm humble right now, but at the same time, like, come on, y'all. Really? Really?
Right.
Come on, like
do.
give credit where it's due.
It's a compliment. It's you made it. You know, you made it. That's you know, you're being imitated. So.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you know, you work hard. Look at the reference little glossary I got back here. It's about 7-8 pages of references, because I don't want to be the one to be like, I'm saying, you know, I'm just getting up here and just talking, you know, or just writing a book with just words that don't, you know, you got to fact check things. In my book, I like to be fact checked. Right. And I tell my followers, do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Don't just take anybody's word for it.
Right. Don't take
do your own. Do your own research.
Facts are facts. Oh,
anybody have something to say?
You're doing a great job. I know that. I mean, like Prime said, I mean, they complimenting you, and they don't know how.
Hey, they need to figure it out.
Do it. Hey, you know, it's gonna come where everything comes in its prime. No pun intended. It's gonna happen where your dues will be paid at that given moment. The Most High sees you. That's all that matters.
That's right. I know that's right.
What
matters. About you, Prime? Anything? Any last words before we get up off of here?
Well,
especially about you. I know how you probably relate to this whole feminism and I'm so strong.
I think it's destroying the country. I think God had the right idea when he brought man and woman together, and I think it's destroying the country. And I think, you know, I don't think women really realize that it's a bad thing, because they benefit from it so much that they don't realize that in exchange for the career success or attention or whatever they're getting from it, it's destroying the family, it's destroying the country, and then the children are ultimately left to Hollywood or the music industry, and because that family is there to protect them from all that type of influence. So, you know, I don't know what it's going to take to make it turn around, but I think the more people we get in prominent positions, people who have the right message and that's why what you're doing is so important. I think the more we get people in prominent position who have the right message, gives you something different to follow, the right example to follow.
Definitely. Yeah. So I just want everybody to remember, when you're seeing this ultra independence and this hatred for procreation, you are most likely dealing with someone who is inhabiting Lilith, okay? Especially when you're dealing with this hyper independent woman. Not just to say that this is limited to women, because remember, this is an elemental spirit that could actually lure any human into thinking that they cannot say no to temptation. All right. So, you know, when you're thinking about or dealing with spirits, it's not that they're just limited to one gender. They might have a preference? Hey, we don't know. But it's not limited to just one gender. So, you know, you just can't say, oh, that's a woman, that's Lilith. Okay. Because a lot of, you know, men could inhabit this type too. Alrighty. So anybody in the chat, make sure you check me out on Spotify. This will also be on Spotify. Just research Dr. Yaya Marie, and also Facebook and TikTok. And we got some new, I got some new stuff for y'all. I'm serious. Got some new things. Brian said, Prime, maybe if you can read this question, maybe if you have an answer. If I may ask, are you familiar with the term narcissism? I remember that in college. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of, I guess you could say, socialism, and you know, kind of introducing this alternative view of life. Yeah. And, you know, that's all Illuminati stuff. Yeah. You know.
Exactly.
What do you think about it, Brian? I wish you could at least. Are you thinking that's a good side or a bad side? How are you indifferent about it, or you just want to know more information on it?
As it relates to maybe I don't know. What's he asking?
Narcissist, really. I don't know too much about it. So if I don't know too much about something, I don't speak on it. To tell you the truth, because I don't want to.
Oh, that's a whole class on Marxism.
I know, right? I don't look. If I don't know anything about it, somebody asked me today about RH negative or positive.
That was like 20 years ago while I was in college, and I didn't want to remember it either. So
somebody asked me today about RH negative or positive blood being linked to the serpent seed. And I'm like, look, if I knew, I would give you what I know. I don't know. So, and I definitely don't want to be up here just, thinking if I can't have facts and, references and to back me up, I won't talk about it. I'll be like, look, let me research that. Good question. But yeah, so far, Prime added his statement to Marxism. It's basically the other opposing side. You're on mute, Prime.
Well, that's pretty much how they took over the world. That's one of the elements of the global takeover is Marxism and, the belief of, there's like basically eliminate sovereignty, so it allows the government to control to come in. So it's really the indoctrination of government. Marxism is bad.
That reminds me of that book, George Orwell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
1984.
40.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
1984. Yeah.
I just saw a book like that in the library at high school.
Oh, of course.
To read.
Yep. Oh, you got to let them read it.
Right.
Yep. Alrighty, guys. I absolutely appreciate everybody. Make sure you give me a like and a thumbs up. Help your girl out. Like my stuff. Help your girl out. Come on now. Like it's free.
Thank you, Dr. Yaya. I appreciate you. Thanks, Prime. Good night, you guys.
Good night. Remember,
love the book.
Matchmaker.
All right, Dr. Yaya.
Thank you for being here, Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Get the book.